Uh, Hello, welcome to Gen Ed. We on this today we'll talk about history. The topic of history of Chinese in the Philippines during 600 to 1570. Now on the left you see the southeast part of China. We will talk. This is the map. As you see, this is Fujian area. This is where majority of the topic we will talk. And here we will see map of the Philippines. And then if on the lower part, if you see the how the structures, we see the Fujian province here near coast to Taiwan, but was also close to the northern part of the Philippines. Now, during the Tang Dynasty, 1680 to 906, Tang Dynasty, as the Chinese has no knowledge of the lands, of our lands in the Philippines, during the 10th century, the trade went to Champa and also to Moluccas as they traded through maritime trade. Now, during this 960 to 1279, this is where the Sung dynasty started. The maritime trade grew. So it grew now from the ports. They also have the four ports. The Quanzhou is the second on the Sung dynasty. It's the second biggest port. Guangzhou, Jiaozhou, Yangzhou, and Guangzhou is the biggest port on on this era of the dynasty. Now in Fujian, there's also developed of shipbuilding. It's time of how they do the ship. Now also there on those times, you see. Now this is where they drew a map where they passed by the islands during those times. They call it Sandao because there's three islands. They pass of Calamian, and Palawan, and Busuanga. They call it how they call it. This is the times where also they pass by. Also they pass by Butuan, also Bisaya, in Mindoang. They also they come. It's now Maguindanao. They Polilo Island, Sulu, and Luzon. Now in China, going to Sulu is when the Chinese began within the Sulu trade. They navigate to southern China, passing through Palawan. You see here, passing how they navigate from here, but they pass through Palawan first, or and then they go to Sulu Sea. Now going to the Sulu part. Now some some travelers, merchants, they started here in Fujian, but they go here, going more western part as they land also to where Malaysia is, Indonesia, Malaysia, and then to the southern part. So mostly it's not on the map. They made a longer route, but on the longer route they got more trades since they traded to Indonesia, Malaysia, then going to Sulu. This is those are the parts. Those are the how they navigate navigate their trade from Fujian to the Philippines. Also some they pass longer parts. Now they also in Maguindanao or Mindoang, they traded and export some cottons. This is during Maguindanao during this 1206. We passed Palawan also here, and then Basilan in 1206 or 1216 to 1219. They passed Butuan. They started to travel to Butuan Islands. And also 12016 to 12019, this is the part they also traveled to Sulu. Now the products there are the of trade is jewelry, furniture, wheat, sold, salt. They traded bird's nest. They they get cucumber, carabao's horn, the cotton as they export. As from the Philippines they import. Okay, they export from China to the Philippines. As the Philippine imported it from cotton. This is from the year 1206 of silk and porcelain. Now within those trades there are in the 1346 to 1600 there also has been a tragedy of stopping of the trades during in the Ming Dynasty. This is where the Moro pirates started to pirate those Chinese merchants. This is where the pirating starts. And now so China stopped. Let's stop the halt of selling on from China to the Philippines due to the constant piracy until they send an emissary to Luzon for tributes. Now, from there, we see the Spaniards came in which in 1570 Spaniards arrived in Manila and found 150 Chinese already settled in the Manila area. Now, we will stop until here. Now, what the next topic we will go for recommended the experience of the Chinese during the 1570 to 1899. Now we will talk about they settled here. This is the topic where we call the settling here. The Philippines. It's also the topic we'll talk about the treatment of the Spaniards to the Chinese. Now, from here, we will see a quest, the bonus quest of me as a Filipino Chinese. How come I am not practicing the Chinese traditions anymore? Is it something? What happened to the Chinese practices in the Philippines? We will find out more soon. Now, this is on today. We will just see an overview of the Chinese manifesting or come. You see how it from China they came to the Philippines. This is an overview topic. Next topic will have more intense topic. Okay? Thank you. This is references I gathered from. And thank you for listening. See you next on the next topic.